All right. When we began our discussion related to effects of mass communication, remember before we started discussing stimulus response model and two-step flow communication model, I told you that to study the effects of mass communication is one of the important areas for mass comm scholars. So many scholars, they had been interested in studying the effects of media violence on children, the effects of media violence on youth, on adolescents. We all know that media content is replete with examples of violence. We see violence in TV cartoons, we see violence in games, we see violence in TV shows, even Hollywood movies, and even they say that the famous cartoon series Tom and Jerry, that is also full of violence for children. And I mean, you see the mouse and the cat, they keep beating each other brutally. So that also shows a lot of violence. So to study the effects of mass communication has been an important dominant area within the field of communication. This is what I'm trying to say. And in that we
Ma'am, you are not audible at all.
am I not? I'm sorry. Am I audible to, is
Yes,
this just one student or all of you?
ma'am, I can hear you. Ma'am, I can hear you.
It's fine to
I'm
me.
able to hear you too.
Okay, well, maybe then better, maybe then the problem is only with one student's either the internet speed or you need to check your device. My suggestion would be to log out of the session and then log back in. Maybe let's see if that helps. Okay? All right. So we're talking about effects of mass communication, and I was telling you this idea that to study effects of mass communication has been a primary area of interest for many mass comm scholars. I told you that stimulus response model, which says that in order to get a response, you have to have a stimulus. Uh, it is related to effect. See, there is a stimulus, it affects an individual in the form of response. Similarly, magic bullet model, hypodermic needle model, it also talks about media effects. And it says, essentially, it says that media effects are very powerful, very strong for people. And now here we are talking about agenda setting model, which is one of the effects model in mass communication. If you pay attention to these words, agenda and setting, the model essentially says that media has the power to set agendas for people. Okay, media can set agendas. Uh, Let me tell you, before I begin my next explanation, let me tell you very briefly that when COVID-19 began, and it had not become very, like it hasn't spread this much, like in the very beginning when it began in China. During that time when COVID had not spread this much, people were gossiping about this disease and the possible outbreak of disease in their respective areas. And many people, they blamed media for creating a hype, for inciting fear among people related to the spread of the disease. And people were saying that, well, media makes us think about issues that are really not important, and we have other issues, more important issues right now to think about. For example, issues related to good governance, issues related to unemployment and all that. But ultimately, COVID, of course, did appear as one of the biggest challenges to humanity in our contemporary context. But I was just trying to explain this idea that how media can be important in setting agendas for people. I was trying to explain you this idea in the context of COVID-19. Excuse me. All right. Here is my next slide. So this is the main postulate of agenda setting theory that you see on the screen. And this was, let me tell you that theory actually was proposed in 1976. This is not, it's not like that theory came in 1997. Please be very careful in noting down that the theory was actually initially proposed in 1976, not in 1997. However, this statement that I have written here actually explains agenda setting really well. That is why I put this statement in the beginning, in one of the beginning slides. Let's see what the statement says. It says agenda setting theory is a process whereby the news media lead the public in assigning a relative importance to various public issues. Excuse me. All right. Now, let me explain what the statement says. So, agenda setting theory actually is a process. And what happens in this process is that media tells people what are the important issues to think about. Media not only tells people, okay, these are important issues, but media also tells people how much importance to give to an issue. Let me give an example which usually stays neglected in Pakistani media. Climate change, global warming. We know that climate change is an imminent threat to the citizens of this country, right? We also know that because of climate change, Pakistan has started facing harsh weather. Winters are getting shorter and intense. Similarly, summer weather, heat is getting intense. Many times in June and July, the temperature hits 40 degrees Celsius, maybe even beyond that. And it is said that this is happening because of climate change. And not only this, global warming is affecting uh, the whole world. Hurricanes, forest fires, similarly the rising sea levels. And they say that these rising sea levels, they are also going to affect Karachi. Karachi's weather has become very unpredictable and very intense in last few days. So not last few days, sorry, in last few years. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that climate change is one of the pressing issues that the country is facing. But unfortunately, how much importance do you see media? Uh, how much importance do you see that media puts on that issue? Or how much importance is given to that issue by Pakistani media? In my experience, I have noticed that Dawn sometimes writes an editorial, or there are some writers who write about issues related to environment. Huma Yusuf is one of them. She has written several times in her columns in Dawn that Pakistan is world's one of the most water stressed countries, and this is going to affect Pakistan because Pakistan essentially depends on agriculture sector for its financial resources. So Pakistan is going to climate change is going to affect Pakistan really bad, and this should be one of the most important issues right now, like agendas for right now for public, for and for media should emphasize this issue so that people also take it serious, and people should start taking precautionary preventive measures to face intense situations in future. Now, what I'm trying to say here is that since uh, media does not highlight that issue much, it remains absent from public debates. Now, does this all make sense? If you have any questions, I'll stop here to take your questions, please. Any questions?
No, ma'am.
Okay, what I just explained, is this clear? Is this understandable?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, let's move to the next slide. Now, these are the people who are behind the presentation of agenda setting model. Remember when I was on my last slide, I told you that although I gave this statement in the beginning of my presentation because I found it to be important, this statement was given by these two scholars in 1997. These scholars that you see on the screen, whose names I have written in bold font, Maxwell McCombs and Donald Shaw, they are the main architects of agenda setting model. They are the ones who proposed this model first time in 1976. And let me tell you very briefly that both are American scholars, both are scholars of mass communication. They both study mass comm effects, and they were studying mass comm effects in University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill, and UNC. It's called UNC Chapel Hill. And what they did was they were studying media's impact on election campaigns. During the days of election, different political parties, different politicians, they have their agendas. Some political parties, they say our agenda is reduced price housing for public. Some political parties, they claim that our agenda is free health, health care, free education. See, political parties, they come up with their agendas. And inspired by those agendas, now McCombs and Shaw, they were studying that how media presents those agendas, how much importance media gives to these agendas, and consequently how much importance, how much those events become important for public. Now we need to understand one thing here. If media gives more importance to an issue, a particular issue, that issue becomes really, really important in public perception. If media keeps showing you that tree plantation is important, Pakistan is getting summers in Pakistan are getting hotter and longer, and this is badly going to affect economy, because it will affect our agricultural sector, and consequently it will badly affect economy as well. Now you see, in this case, media is setting an agenda for public. Excuse me. So, but however, McComb and Shaw, they were doing this study in the context of elections in the US, and they wrote that audience not only learn about issues, but they also learn how much importance to attach to an issue or topic. See, media is this much powerful. I will repeat. McCombs and Shaw, they were of the view that audience not only learn about public issues, but audience also learn how much importance to attach to an issue or topic. This is what media does. Any questions so far?
No, ma'am.
All right.
No,
The development, the agenda setting model actually started developing in the wake of Magic Bullet theory. Magic Bullet was one of the early models of MassCom. Magic Bullet talked about the idea that media effects are very, very powerful. The messages that come from media, they have the power to, like, they hit people like bullets, magic bullets, bullets that can hit, pierce people's eyes in case of TV messages, and that can pierce people's ears in case of radio messages. Agenda setting model 2 talked about effects of mass media, but in the sense that in the sense that um, media has the power to set agendas for people. I'll move to my next slide. And similarly, we're talking about the development of agenda setting model. I apologize for the spelling mistake here. I'll fix it before I upload it on Moodle. So in this case, again, you see, it began from Walter Lippmann. Walter Lippmann, I think, if I'm not mistaken, his book, Public Opinion, I have written the name of his book and I have italicized the book's name as well. His book, Public Opinion, came out in 1920s. And in that book, Walter Lippmann talked about the power of media related to setting agendas for public. However, this person, Bernard Cohen, in 1963, he was studying foreign policy, and he was studying press role in foreign policy. And he said that the press may not be successful in telling people what to think, but they are stunningly successful in telling people what to think about. The crux of agenda setting model is that the agenda of media becomes the agenda of public. If media gives more agenda to, if media gives more importance to a particular issue, that issue ultimately becomes really, really important in the eyes of people. That's what the model says. I can give you an example to explain it better from Pakistan in the context of lawyers movement. Does anyone remember what was lawyers movement? Does anyone remember lawyers movement? Better lawyers movement that happened in 2008 or 2009. In lawyers movement, what happened was it happened soon after Musharraf, General Musharraf was Pakistan's president at that time, and he removed Chief Justice, Pakistan's Chief Justice, who was Iftikhar Chaudhry. And soon after his removal, there were protests of lawyers. That is why it is known as lawyers movement. And they decided to do a protest march from Lahore to Islamabad. Media gave importance to that issue. Media focused on that issue, and they showed it to public. And ultimately, the media became immensely popular among people, and people also participated in it. Give me a minute. Sorry about that. I'm back. Yeah, so I was talking about the lawyers movement, and I told you that happened in the wake of removal of Pakistan's Chief Justice, and lawyers protested, and other people also joined them because media gave immense importance to that issue. And ultimately, we know that consequently, the Chief Justice of Pakistan was restored. And not only that, President Musharraf had to resign, and soon after that we had elections, and then Pakistan People's Party came in power. Okay. All right, now this picture explains agenda setting model really well. Now you see on the column on the right side of this picture, sorry, left side of this picture, there are issues, and you see all of them are of the same importance. There is issue, supposedly it's x1, then x2, x3, x4, x5, x6. So these are some issues. All right, now these boxes indicate the level of importance that media gives to an issue. When media disseminates, or when media uh, excuse me, all right, when media gives importance to issues, you see, while giving importance, they gave maximum importance to x1, issue x1. And this is how in people's perception x1 appears in the biggest form. Comparatively, media gave less importance to x2, and comparatively the size of this issue is shorter in people's perception. Similarly, media gave moderate importance to x3, so people also are not giving much importance to this issue. However, they gave maximum importance to issue x4, and people are also giving it maximum importance.
And the other one is the word.
Here, interestingly, x5, you see, media gave least importance to this issue, least importance, and consequently this issue is again not much important in people's eyes. Maximum importance is given to issue x6, and this issue again is correspondingly most important in people's eyes. So I am going to stop the sharing of my screen here, and I'll take your questions. It's better if you can give me some more examples related to agenda setting model. I gave you an example which was related to lawyers movement. Some more examples I can give you. I already gave you an example of environment issue in Pakistan. That environment issue is a pressing issue in like that needs immediate attention. However, Pakistani media does not appear to give it much attention, and that is why media the issue doesn't seem to be important in public eyes. With that, I want to ask you this question. That's okay, Rachel. I want to ask you this question, that how many of you are aware of this fact that Pakistan is world's third or maybe fourth most water stressed country? Please raise your hands. Okay, Misha knows, Usman Ghani knows. Who else? How do you Ramsa know? Oh, very good. So only three people in this class know about this fact that Pakistan is world's most water stressed country. See, this is the level of importance that people are giving. If people are even not aware of the issue, how are they going to give importance to? May I ask Misha, Usman, from where? How do you know? Like, what was your source about this information? Did you get to know about this from media or like what?
Yes, ma'am. I got to know this from different newspaper articles.
Mhm. And what news? Like were they Urdu newspapers or English or what?
Yes, Urdu newspapers.
Okay. May I ask the name better?
Asas.
Hmm?
Asas.
Asas. Ji Ramsa, would you like to talk about it?
Ma'am, I got to know about it from different sites from Google and also from my course in of environmental
Yeah,
pollution.
yeah, very good. So Ramsa took a course related to environment, and that became her source. Usman Bete, would you like to talk about it? How did you know?
Yes, ma'am. 3 to 4 days back, there was a trend on Twitter, और उसमें बताया जा रहा था कि water issues are increasing in Pakistan.
Social media essentially, but again not many people are aware of the issue in the class, and issue doesn't, I mean, Pakistani media in my opinion plays more importance to political issues, especially confrontational talk shows, and this political party is doing this now, this rally is happening, PDM is doing this. I mean, we have other important issues that needs more attention maybe. However, nobody can deny the fact that media sometimes has the power to set agendas for people. All right, I'll stop my lecture here and I'll let you ask questions if you have any. I have finished my today's lecture. If any example comes in your mind for the next class, I'm assigning you an activity. Please think some more examples related to agenda setting in the context of Pakistan. I gave you two examples. I gave you the example of lawyers movement where media actually gave importance, set the agenda for people. So that was media's agenda. Ultimately, it became, excuse me. Earlier, that was media's agenda, and later it became public agenda as well. Similarly, in the case of environment issue, I have told you that seems to be a neglected issue because media isn't that is not on top priority of media.
हम
And
मैम
जी
इससे
जी
पहले और भी बहुत सारे केसेस हो चुके हैं, जैसे जैनब का रेप केस था और पनामा था, उसके बारे में मीडिया ने हाईलाइट किया तो उसके बाद इशू
very
पता
good.
चला.
Panama case is a very good example. Similarly, जो child abuse case था, जो Zainab case था, yes. So, and that was not the first incident that happened in the city of Kasur. Soon after that incident, I mean, media gave it importance, and then people, I mean, learned that several other cases, unfortunately, had happened in the same city with minor girls. Good job, Usama, and I believe that many other students can come up with more examples. Inshallah, we will continue with some more discussion on agenda setting model in our next class. Okay? If you if you have any questions, you can ask me now.
हाँ
मैम
मैम.
अभी
ठीक है
भी तो
फिर
जितना आप मैम अभी आजकल कोरोना वायरस के भी तो जितना काफी ज्यादा एजेंडा सेटिंग है, मतलब शो करा रहे हैं, पहले नहीं था शुरू में.
Yes, shabash. And they are using all possible channels. You may have
Yes.
noticed that when you call someone, instead of hearing the ringtone, you start listening to a message that tells you to practice social distancing, or that tells you
Yes.
to go get vaccinated, or that kind of thing. Very good, shabash, shabash. Very good example, Ramsa. ठीक है, I believe that in next class, inshallah, you all will come with some more examples, and we will continue with some more discussion on agenda setting model. inshallah. I again apologize for being late for your assessment of exam 1. I talked about this in last class, but I had not this much number of students, so I would like to reiterate that I have a couple of deadlines to meet until April 30th, which means I am very busy until April the 30th. Please bear with me for one more week, inshallah. As soon as I'm done with that, I'll start assessing your work, okay? And you will be hearing from me soon. I apologize for the delay. About your midterm exam, I'm going to give you a tentative date today. I usually announce my exams at least 2 weeks before the exam so that students can ensure their availability, and they can also ensure that they don't miss exams. Bete, I will give you your midterm exam after we are back from Eid break. ठीक है? So I need to check university's calendar to know when is Eid break. After you are back from Eid break, I'll give you at least 1 week to get back to settle, and then you will take your midterm exam. ठीक है? And inshallah,
Yeah.
before we go for Eid break, you will know your assessment for your first exam. ठीक है? I have given you a
Okay, ma'am.
tentative date for the exam. I'll give you the exact date, inshallah, in next week. ठीक है?
Okay, ma'am.
All right, students, if you do not have any question, I'll end the session now. Inshallah, I hope to see you all on Wednesday. Okay?
Allah Hafiz, ma'am.
Thank you and goodbye. Allah.